Good evening, cyber friend. This is Mitty, man. Coming at you again. Walker's Music. Yet another word for the day, and we're gonna make this and here be a Ignorant Brethren series, and this is what should be part 7. First of all, we want to give God the glory for life, health, and strength for as well as it is. We give Him honor, because it could have been another way, people. Also, we want to give a shout out to all the cyber friends from YouTube, from End Time Harvest Gang, also all the Blog Talk family. We just want to say that we appreciate you and we give you your honor. This evening, I wanted to say, first of all, off the top, that we were so glad to hear and have a progress report for a senior member of the End Time Harvest Gang, Papa JT and Mama JT, and we always ask how they are doing. And Brother JT got a chance to let me know that everything was going A-OK, and we certainly are. We are thankful to God for that, and we're going to continue to pray for Papa JT as well as Mama JT. We pray for her strength as she go about her everyday dealings and taking care of Papa JT and making certain everything go right for him as well. We just give honor to whom honor is due. I have no problem with that, people. Mitty Man always going to do that. I think very highly of Papa JT. I love his singing, and I tell you, the wisdom that I've gotten from him just in this short time is priceless. The man knows about the music business. I know a lot of people, they feel that nobody can't tell them nothing. Mitty Man is not like that. I love to sit down and just, I would love to be able to just sit down with Papa JT about a whole hour or two or more and just listen at the wisdom that he have about that music business and whatnot. I would love it. But we just want to say, Papa JT, we are still praying with you and for you. And you just keep on keeping on. I wanted to say also, last night we had a real interesting Bible study. Me and Brother JT. Brother JT, we appreciate you, brother. And we gonna say this, keep on keeping on, Doc. We got to keep on doing this, like you said, man. We got to keep on doing it until somebody get it. In other words, it's not about us, and we know that. I dare take any glory from God. Remember, it's dangerous to try to take God's glory. Ask Herod. But at any rate, we are supposed to be doing this here. We are supposed to carry the gospel, teaching and preaching, whatever, however you do it. Let's just do it for the glory of God. And we'll leave it at that. Wanted to say, you know, we was talking about the ignorant brethren, and Paul dealt with it so much, and even to Jesus, people. If you don't realize it, when you go up against people's traditions, you got a problem. It's like going up against a stone wall. When people get stuck in tradition, it's hard to change them. Even if they are wrong, it's still hard to change them when they're tradition. Now, Mitty Man is not against tradition, people. Let me make that clear. I am not against traditions. There are some traditions I feel we should leave alone, and they should remain unchanged. But there are some things, especially when they're wrong, people, we just need to do it right. Now, the reason I say that, I'm gonna take my time a little bit, but I'm still gonna try to keep the video not to get too long. When you think about the music business, I'm gonna try to put this thing by grace and law and relate it to the music business and what kind of brick wall you go up against when you try to change people. Now, Jesus faced this opposition with the Pharisees. They could not see it. Jesus was bringing in something new. In other words, it wasn't new, but it was new to them because, see, they were fixated in their minds and their tradition, the man-made laws that they made, and were trying to put all the burden on the people. And Jesus knew this, and Jesus was against that. So was Paul. Paul continued the effort. Because when Jesus met Paul on the road to Damascus, remember now, Paul was going his way to persecute Christians. He wasn't going over there to give them no degrees, and no, he wasn't going over there to give them no milkshakes. He was going to persecute them. So when Jesus met him on that road to Damascus, he said, Paul, why are you persecuting me? And we know the story from there. And then Paul got up a new man after he was converted. But when we start talking about change and tradition, let us. I want to do something this evening that I have not done in quite a while. I want to tie this thing closer into the music arena, And I'm going to use a few key people from the music business to try to pinpoint my position on law and grace. If we look back, let's take one of our famous musicians of all time, Brother Ray Charles. Let's look at Brother Ray Charles. Brother Ray Charles, matter of fact, Brother Ray Charles was born just about 20 minutes from me over in Albany, Georgia. That's where he was born. And he, at an early age, as an infant, I think, he moved his mom, Aretha. They moved to Hollywood, Florida. I believe it was a little suburban area, a suburban town on the outskirts of around Tallahassee in the area down here, which that's not too far from me, Middleman as well. Matter of fact, my sister, I have a sister that I played for her wedding a few years back. She lives in Bainbridge, which is just a rock's throw from Tallahassee, Florida. She lives in Bainbridge, Georgia, which is south of me about a couple hours. Matter of fact, it's just about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. But at any rate, this is where Ray Charles come from. And we know that if you look at Ray's life now, if you haven't seen the movie, I would ask you to try to check out the movie Ray. It's got a lot of truth in that movie. When Ray was trying to do his music and everything, what they call the Chitlin circuit, he was going place to place, and they was getting paid. And you know, Ray got involved in a lot of stuff that he shouldn't have got involved in, like we all have done. We all have sinned, come short of the glory of God. Nobody trying to pick on Ray, so don't go and say Middleman will pick it on Ray. No, matter of fact, I like Ray Charles. I like Ray Charles music to this day. I love Ray Charles. But at any rate, we know the story that Ray. Matter of fact, Ray and Quincy Jones, very, very good friends. Very good friends. They were. In other words, and I guess they still are. Ray just done went on to the other side. Q still with us. But we noticed one thing in that if you look at that movie, when Ray's career made a downturn when he was on the Chitlin circuit, he got tired of it. Because Ray was always a businessman, and he always was a leader. Ray was never meant to be just follow these guys that he was trying to play for and sing for, and they was letting him have little spots and everything. But nevertheless, you got to crawl before you walk. That was the tradition. And then we know that after certain things, if you look at the movie, it was a downturn in the Chitlin circuit. And he had a little problem with the guy that he was with at that particular time. And so he left them because he felt he was being cheated, which he was. And musicians, I'm just going to speak as one. We really get mistreated a lot. Not only on the church front, but on every front. We tend to get mistreated a lot. But at any rate, when Ray left, Ray went to Harlem. He went to New York. And as we notice now, Ray's life that was a big immediate change when he went to New York. Now, why? Why did Ray's life change? I'm talking to you musicians now. I know y'all know this. You should know. Because he met two individuals. In fact, if you are good at what you do, they'll come looking for you. Remember the guy, his name was Ahmet Ertegun. Ahmet. He was with Atlantic Records. Yes, people, the great Atlantic Records. Ahmet came looking for Ray. He had heard about Ray through one of Ray's former contacts. And he had overextended himself to a degree, like a lot of people do when they get a little money. They get, too big for themselves sometimes. And we're not judging, but they're stating the fact. This is how Ahmet knew that Ray was available at that particular time. He came and talked to Ray, gave him an opportunity, told him what he wanted to do. And so they brought Ray into Atlantic Records. And it was, Ray was trying to stay in the traditional thing, Charles Brown. Ray was singing and mimicking Charles Brown, and all his songs, it was about Charles Brown. And I can remember very clearly, in that movie, where the engineers, they were back there with Ahmet, and Ahmet was just looking, because he knew Ray had the talent. He knew it was there. And the other guy said, this is not going to work. Nobody wants another Charles Brown. You got to be original in this game. You talking about the music business. But you see, Ray was doing the traditional, thinking that, okay, this was the way to go. And so Ahmet went out there and he talked to Ray, and he told me, he said, Ray, we got to come up with something. He said, man, I don't know nothing else to do. This is what I do. I do what I do. And I remember that statement too. He said, we got to make this work, because this is what I do. This is it. And so Ahmet thought about it a little bit, and Ahmet had a song that he had written called Mess Around. And I know y'all know that song, those of you old enough, and even if you're not old enough, I'm quite sure you've heard the song Mess Around. Do a search for Ray Charles and look for Mess Around. Well, it came out to be, they loved it. And Ray tore the song up. Stride piano. That's what he learned when he was in Florida. He learned that from the old guy, the old piano player. He learned stride piano. So he had to break the tradition. And Mess Around is what that bridge that broke that tradition. And this what started Ray to going up in his musical career. And then, as we know, Jerry Wexler, which is that famous producer, he came along and made Atlantic Records big. Ray Charles was one of the main, I should say, in the forefront of making Atlantic Records what it did become to be. Very, very big, until he left them for ABC Records. And I could give him a personal opinion about that, but I won't. I would just keep that to myself. But at any rate, the tradition had to be broken. If that tradition had not been broken and that transition made from the Chitlin Circuit to the time when Ray went to Harlem and met Ahmet and Jerry Wexler, we wouldn't have what we call soul music to this day. Because if you could remember, it was Ray that fused rhythm and blues and gospel and gave us soul. Now that's a history lesson that I'm gonna let y'all figure it out for yourself. I'm gonna let you read about that. Gospel music and rhythm and blues is where we get our soul music from today. Soul, S-O-U-L. Think about it, people. Think about it. Now, this is the same thing, an ordeal, y'all, that Jesus had and Paul in trying to get and break these traditions of law and grace. You see, Jesus came to fulfill the law. Jesus was the only one that could. He kept the law perfectly. And I'm just saying this here, people, on a bait. I'm slowed up now. I have taken, I don't come out of fifth gear. I done broke down to fourth, and I'm back to third gear now. And I'm pleading, and I'm just asking you to understand. Jesus fulfilled the law. That's forever settled. Case closed. Let me say that again. Jesus fulfilled his law. He took care of the law of sin and death. Case closed. You or myself, we can do no more with that. So what's best for us to do is leave that case alone. Jesus took care of that. Now, grace and truth, we're living in it. Every time I make a mess, grace steps in, truth steps in. Oh, every time me, the man, have an old impure thought that I know I shouldn't have because of the flesh, I'm weak, grace and truth steps in. Every time me, the man, have a, you know, Jesus told us, even if you, he was trying to tell, just like he told the rich young ruler. He said, go and sell what you have and you will have treasure. Take up your cross and follow me. But he went away sorrowfully. Why? Because he loved money more than he loved God. Jesus said, if a man should even look upon a woman as to lust after her, has already committed adultery in his heart. Already. People, come on now. Think about it. Think about it. How many times have we just been sitting at your PC, just minding your own business? You just trying to do something something productive. You may be trying to look for a Ray Charles song, mess around, and lo and behold, there comes something else come up on the screen. It gets in your eye gate. Yes, it gets in your eye gate. You click it away from it. How many times have you been tempted to go back to it? Tell the truth. Think about it. All of that Jesus took upon himself. And every time we fall short, And every time we fall and skin our knee, Jesus is forever at his Father's throne making intercession. He's our great high priest. Read Hebrews, people. He's our great high priest. So therefore, we do not have to worry about the law. Jesus has taken care of that. Now, grace and truth. What is our part in this thing? We just got to believe and accept the sacrifice that Jesus made on Calvary, people. Nothing else. You see, this is how come it's so hard with some of us, Mighty Man included. That seems like it's too easy. I mean, it's like to me, Lord, ain't it something that I'm supposed to do? Yes, believe on what I did. That's enough. But Lord, shouldn't I be able to do? No, you're not going to do it. You'll mess it up. People, please, we will mess it up. And on this 7th part of the Ignorant Brethren series, if you want to stop being ignorant, just know this one thing. It is not by the law that no flesh going to be saved, but it's by the glory and about Jesus Christ, by God's only Son, that we're going to be saved. Whether we go pre, mid, or post, I'm talking to these tribulators now that want to get out of here early. You know what, people? I'm going to say this here, and then I'm going to end this here, part 7. If Jesus come and get us pre, I ain't got no problem with that. Not at all. And I don't want us to be enemies because we don't agree on what time it is. Please. We should be able to get along, people. The point of the matter is that whenever he comes, we need to be ready to go. We need to be ready. How are we going to be ready? Believe on the only begotten Son of God. Just believe, people, what he did at Calvary. What do it tell us in the book of Romans? If we confess with our mouth the Lord Jesus, believe in thine heart that God had raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it until Jesus comes. People, this is all we need to do. Take up the cross on a daily basis and follow Christ. Now, I know a lot of time we get into the flesh and we thinking, oh, Lord, I'm doing such a great job. No, don't think that. Just live one day at a time. Don't worry about tomorrow. You ain't got there yet. Tomorrow, don't worry about tomorrow. You ain't got there yet. Yesterday's gone. Can't do nothing about it. Only right now. Just follow Christ. In other words, if you want to know what you're doing, see as you're following Christ. Ask yourself this question. If anything that you are doing, ask yourself this question. Would Jesus do it? And if you say no, then that's an indication that you shouldn't be doing it. Don't worry about what Mighty Man think. What Mighty Man think is beside the point. You ain't got to stand before Mighty Man. You ain't got to, Mighty Man not going to judge you. But ask yourself a question. Whatever it is you're doing in your life, we got an exit, we got an entrance point in this world and an exit point. You go to the graveyard, you see a year here and a year there and a dash in between. The only thing that matters is that dash in between. What you do between your entrance and your exit. Ask yourself, is what I'm doing, would Jesus do it? And if you say no, there's your answer. And if you say yes, there's your answer. Stop people pleasing. But by the law, people, no flesh shall be justified. No flesh is going to glory in God's sight. But it's only what his Son has done. The finished work of the cross. That's all God is going to look at. So if you have Jesus as your Savior, that's enough. That's enough. So with that being said, this Mighty Man saying whatever you get into. If God is not in it, get out of it. That is part 7 of the Ignorant Brethren. Peace and goodbye.